Is Luka Doncic fooling everyone with his weight loss? We can all agree, we have been burned by skinny Luka before. He's been just like Ben Simmons. In the offseason, Ben can shoot threes, then in the NBA season, he is a walking brick. But this summer, something with Luka Doncic is different. It looks like the 2026 MVP will finally be his. Why? Well, at the end of the 2025 season with the Lakers, Luka was under the spotlight and he was slow. He was out of shape and the media buried him. But now, at the Eurobasketball Championship, the proof of Luka's weight loss is undeniable. And when we dig deeper, we get even better news. When we compare 2025 summer Luka to 2022 summer Luka, we see the exact same thing. Luka is still skinnier. He's still more defined. This is legit. But still, even with this proof, some people are just not buying it. So today, we are going to go step by step into Luka's new mindset. A mindset that is fueled by revenge that will finally unleash his full potential. And on the way, we're going to dive into a strange coincidence. The fact that Luka is actually on the same path as Nikola Jokic and Shaquille O'Neal. A path that led Jokic and Shaq to basketball immortality. Now, before we jump into what Luka will become with this weight loss, I want to start with this. In the 2025 season, playing noticeably overweight, Luka Doncic averaged 28.2 points, 8.2 rebounds, and a career-high 1.8 steals per game. Throughout all of NBA history, only 8 players have averaged at least 28 points, 8 rebounds, and 7 assists per game in a single season. Luka not only achieved this with too much fat on him, but also, at the age of 26, Luka has averaged at least 28 points, 8 rebounds, and 7 assists per game in a single season 5 different times. That is tied for the most by any player ever with Oscar Robertson. Michael Jordan had just 1 season with those baselines, and LeBron James has 0. So we know that Luka is the wonder boy. That since joining the NBA, he's been the league's best young superstar. But in the last few seasons, things have changed. Luka is no longer the clear-cut best player for his age, especially when it comes to achievements. Now, I would take Luka over Jason Tatum personally, but there's no denying that Tatum has a championship ring and is a 4-time first-team All-NBA selection. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander also has a ring and a Finals MVP and an overall MVP. Shai, of course, achieved this all in the 2025 season, which proves to Luka 1 year really can make all the difference. The success of Jason Tatum and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is very important, though. They are both just 1 year older than Luka, and they are the generational stars that Luka is directly competing against. But before we continue, I want to thank Chime for sponsoring today's video. Chime is an award-winning financial app and debit card that millions of Americans use to manage, save, and spend their money. Have you ever gotten hit by an unexpected car repair or medical bill and payday's still a few days away? That used to stress me out until I found MyPay from Chime. MyPay lets members access up to $500 of their money before payday. Fee-free within 24 hours or instantly for just $2. So when life throws you a curveball, you don't have to wait to cover it. Chime lets you feel good about your money without having to stress about all of those monthly fees we become so used to paying from traditional financial institutions. No stress, no surprise monthly fees. With Chime, I feel in control and I always know what to expect. Chime is changing the way people feel about their money with features and tools that help you avoid the pitfalls of traditional financial institutions while also helping you gain peace of mind. So sign up for Chime today with the link in my description box to get ahead of your finances. Again, link is in the description. Thank you to Chime for sponsoring today's video. And now let's get back to that video. We know that Luka is an extreme competitor and players his own age outperforming him is going to bother him, but people are still doubting whether or not Luka is going to keep this weight off.
There's a difference between getting in shape in the off season and staying in shape during the season.
The thing is, at times Luka has shown literal Michael Jordan levels of competitiveness. In past videos, I've mentioned this exact scenario a few times, but after losing Game 5 to the 64-win #1 seeded Phoenix Suns in the second round of the 2022 playoffs, Luka was caught saying,
Everybody acting tough, but they up.
he responded by leading the Mavericks to a 27-point Game 6 win and then a 33-point Game 7 blowout. Where were the shades of Michael Jordan? Well, listen to what Mike said in the past.
Let's see if all that trash talking starts when it's 0-0 instead of 5-6 point lead. That's the sign of a good man. If you can talk when it's even score. When you're ahead, it's easy to talk.
So here we have a rare and frightening three-way combination. 1, Luka is an intense competitor. 2, the other stars in his own age group have now achieved titles and in Shai's case, an MVP. And 3, after being fat-shamed for months, a source close to Luka stated that a beast was awakened inside him. This newfound beast mentality has led Luka to his weight loss and also a newfound sense of urgency. Sometimes with a player like Luka, you can give them extreme God-given talent and they get comfortable. When you walk into the NBA and by year 2, you're almost averaging a near 30-point triple-double, it is hard to stop and question if you are approaching the game in the right way. I think if all of us put ourselves in Luka's shoes, we can understand where he's been coming from. But now, for Luka, things are truly different as we not only have the motivation, but injuries are piling up too. In the 2024 finals, Luka had a bloody knee wrap and looked nearly crippled at times on the court. In the 2025 season, Luka missed 32 games, the most in his career by far, which could be seen as a negative. But personally, I do believe that the beast has been awakened inside of Luka, and also, this is where Jokic and Shaq enter the picture. Incredible weight loss transformations in the NBA are actually pretty rare, but they're also nothing new. In high school, Marc Gasol was nicknamed the Big Burrito and was just the number 48 pick in the 2007 draft before he shed 50 pounds. Marc went from an afterthought in the Lakers trade for Pau Gasol to a 3-time All-Star and Defensive Player of the Year for the Grizzlies, as well as the starting center for the Raptors' 2019 title run. Luka has reportedly dropped 30 pounds since the end of the season, but unlike Marc Gasol, Luka fits into a different category, the Shaq and Jokic category. Stars who already proved themselves at the highest level, but then went even further and unlocked their final form when they got into great shape. We know that Shaq suffered from weight issues practically his entire career. To this day, Shaq seemingly prides himself on the fact that he used the regular season to get into shape. However, when Shaq first joined the NBA out of LSU, he was a physical specimen, an athletic marvel. He could tear down backboards with his strength, but also could beat your favorite center down the court in a foot race. Shaq had it all, and just like Luka, success came early and it came in abundance. Shaq was an all-star in year 1. He was all NBA year 2 with averages of 29.3 points, 13.2 rebounds, and 2.9 blocks per game. And then in year 3, Shaq's Orlando Magic took down a rusty Michael Jordan and the Chicago Bulls in the 1995 playoffs before losing in the NBA Finals. But there was a major problem. In the 1999 season, now at the age of 26, same age as Luka, Shaq had the worst season of his career thus far. In a lockout season, Shaq was noticeably out of shape, and the Lakers were swept in the second round of the playoffs by the Spurs. In that series, Shaq was directly outplayed by a younger Tim Duncan. At this point in time, we had the same story with Shaq as we have today with Luka. Lakers fans were nervous. They questioned if Shaq would ever get it together. He had missed 81 games between 1996 and 1998, and he was an overweight big man. There was a chance that he was never going to be able to play consistently. But it was here where Shaq's mindset shifted. That second round loss stung, and Phil Jackson was also there to ask Shaq, what's the best thing Wilt Chamberlain ever did? Phil's answer was that Wilt averaged 48.5 minutes a game for an entire season, meaning that Shaq needed to stay on the court in order to get the most out of his abilities and for the Lakers to win a title. And that is exactly what Shaq did. In the 2000 season, Shaquille O'Neal averaged a career-high 40 minutes per game, won his first and only MVP, and also led the Lakers to their first of 3 straight championships. The historical path for Luka to follow is right there. But I have a question here. We know that Shaq lost the weight, but then put it back on. What happens when you're able to keep it off for good? That is the question that could turn Luka from a potential generational talent to an all-time NBA legend. And we have seen that path come in the form of Nikola Jokic. In the summer of 2020, this picture of Nikola Jokic went viral. People were amazed by Nikola Jokic's weight loss, but just like with Luka, just like with Shaq, Jokic had a new mindset. Because back in the 2019 season, the Blazers had taken down the Nuggets by just 4 points in Game 7 of the second round. In this Game 7, Nikola Jokic was visibly exhausted. And even though he was the clear star of the Nuggets and led them to that Game 7, Jokic took all of the burden of this loss on himself. As in 2019, Jokic had been named an All-Star for the first time, an achievement that can make some people coast. But instead, after losing in the playoffs, a fire was lit inside him. Jokic was determined to become the greatest player he possibly could be, not for himself, but really for his teammates and for his organization. And we know what came next. By the 2021 season, Jokic won his first MVP. 2022 saw him win his second. 2023 saw him win his first championship with the Nuggets. And then in 2024, Jokic won MVP number 3. In the span of just 5 years, Nikola Jokic went from making his first All-Star team to becoming a 3-time MVP, a Finals MVP champion, and one of the greatest centers of all time. Luka Doncic has all of the talent to make this exact same type of run. Luka can be the next one up, the next unstoppable MVP that no one in the world wants to match up against. On a lot of nights, he has already been that guy. But at the end of the day, it is his new conditioning that is going to unlock that next step for him. And there we have it. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you are new to the channel and enjoyed this video, please make sure to subscribe and turn on post notifications. Only if you did like the content though. If you're already subscribed, thank you so much for supporting. You are awesome. We all know it. And as always, have an awesome day and cue that music.